Cartoons from the 90s that didn't age well. Saturday morning cartoons might have been one of the best parts of being a kid, but as an adult, some of these shows haven't held up over the years. Want a chance to win an Amazon gift card? Watch till the end to find out how. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Being a kid in the 80s and 90s had its glorious perks. It was a golden age for cartoons, and kids often looked forward to after-school and Saturday morning cartoons. There was something for everybody, and a lot of these series are still pretty incredible by today's standards. For a time, many of these shows had been lost to time, but over the last years or so, with the rise of DVD and online streaming, almost all of these shows are easily available again. It turns out, not all of them were as good as we remember. Perhaps they haven't aged well because the animation just hasn't held up at all. Other times, these cartoons dealt with certain subjects that were pretty cringy in hindsight. Others might have seemed funny as a kid, but looking back as an adult, they're just plain annoying. Yeah, these 90s cartoons might have been part of your regular lineup back in the day, but you probably shouldn't schedule a binge-watching session anytime soon. Otherwise, you may question what you ever saw in these shows in the first place. Rocket power. As one would anticipate from a show by the creators of the well-known Rugrats, this equally imaginative animation has its strong points. However, Rocket Power's noticeable emphasis of extreme sporting frisks like rollerblading and skateboarding tends to bound it primarily to 90s culture, hastening its age in the process. The show lasted until 2004, and although it actually marks one of the most recent Nicktoons on our list, the cool kids on rollerblades idea is unlikely to have a predominantly widespread appeal, especially to watchers of the modern era. The Super Mario Bros. Super Show. Super Mario might be the most celebrated video game character ever, so it was logical to make a Super Mario cartoon. The only problem is looking for an approach to turn the video game into a cartoon that isn't just Mario and Luigi running across the screen and leaping on top of turtles. The show was split up into two sections, a live-action intro and outro, and then a cartoon in the middle, where Mario and Luigi were portrayed as Italian typecasts and were often fixated with pasta and pizza. The cartoons often imitated current movies of the time, making the jokes very dated today, not to mention how the show's producers seemed engrossed with giving everyone the most irritating voice possible. SpiderMan the Animated Series. Despite the fact that it's often regarded a classic, SpiderMan, the Animated Series, 1994, is essentially a huge mess. Unlike most cartoons of the time, it presented season-long story arcs and combined traditional animation with CGI backgrounds, giving the show a distinctive appearance. However, like most CGI from that time period, it hasn't matured well, and now looks pretty dreadful. Aside from that, Spider-Man itself wasn't very good, and the acting is also pretty tacky, while many characters introduced pointlessly complex reforms, like Dr. Octopus' super bulky armor. Doug. Doug the series follows a boy going into the 6th grade, and along the way, he goes through everything regular kids go through, which we can say has a certain charm to it. There's a bully he has to regularly deal with, and he develops feelings for the cute girl in his class, Patty Mayonnaise, although the show is pretty bland in hindsight. Still, the series tries to take advantage of its cartoon medium by showing Doug's rich imagination, where he adopts the role of secret agents and other cool guys, but that's about it as far as creativity goes. The show still holds some sentimental charm, however the high school adventures of Doug Funny and company tend to feel a touch deficient today compared to 1992, especially given its crude style of animation. Mortal Kombat. There was a point in time when Mortal Kombat ruled arcades across the United States. The grisly combat caught on with players of all ages, and the video game even advanced itself to a feature-length film. Nevertheless, when the creators tried to follow up that success with a cartoon series marketed toward kids, it just didn't work at all, as it couldn't be anywhere near as violent as the games. Moreover, the cartoon series featured characters that were in Mortal Kombat 3, which was noteworthy for excluding some popular characters from earlier in the series, such as Scorpion. Although this was all part of a style in the 90s when studios took R-rated properties and turned them into children's cartoons, much like at RoboCop and Toxic Avenger, the product was something that didn't, and doesn't, really charm either kids or adults. Superman, the animated series. Superman, the animated series debuted in 1996 and was developed to run along with the current Batman cartoon. It was aired for 3 seasons, during which it crossed over with Batman, the animated series, and helped launch the highly popular Justice League 2001 cartoon. The show had some positive spots, mostly with its portrayal of Lex Luthor as a cold, scheming businessman. Still, in contrast to the rest of the DC animated universe, Superman just doesn't have much appeal, especially since the animation style looked like a downgrade from Batman, and it was unsuccessful in merging the classic styling with modern technology. Unlike its counterpart, Superman just looks awkward, while many of the show's anti-heroes just weren't as remarkable as Batman's. The show included a lot of great appearances, Green Lantern, Flash and Lobo, but it's not a good sign when the cameos are more fascinating than the main star. Want a chance to win an Amazon gift card? Like, subscribe, turn on notifications and answer this question in comments. Which of these cartoons did you watch as a kid? Winners will be chosen randomly in comments, so make sure to come back and see. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles took the world by storm back in the 80s. Founded on a categorically not kid-friendly comic book, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles first aired in 1987 and gave a family-friendly take on the mutated heroes. The show went on until 1996, and along with a mega-popular toy line, it seemed like every kid loved the heroes in a half-shell. However, the cartoon does not hold up very well as the humor is quite juvenile, and the turtles come across as annoying oftentimes. Shredder is bounded by scoundrels that are either dumb or irritating, sometimes both, and the show was obviously made just to sell toys, and doesn't go near the many superior cartoons and films that have been made since. G.I. Joe, a real American hero. Based on the novel action figure, G.I. Joe, a real American hero was a revamp of the toy line. A Real American Hero presented a colorful cast of characters that were no longer based on customary military characters and fought to avoid the terrorist organization Cobra from conquering the world. The toys were amazing, but the cartoon show, which ran from 1983 until 1986 and saw a brief resurgence in 1989, was not as remarkable. First of all, the action had to be toned down since they were meant for kids, hence everyone fired lasers, and nobody ever got shot, although lots of stuff exploded. The show was infamous for showing planes blowing up, only to have the pilot parachute to safety every single time. Not to mention Cobra Commander's annoying voice, which is enough to make any adult turn this thing off. Did you find out how to win an Amazon gift card? Be sure to watch again to find out how. Be sure to like, subscribe and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out our other videos.